What's going on, YouTube? This time I'm coming at you here late Thursday night. Why do I always get the days wrong? I don't know. Here tonight to make a video response for Dave, JoshJohnson55, a good friend of mine here on YouTube. He is looking for a video for, call it, what makes you you. Things that make you tick, things that you've overcome in life. Just things like that. He's got some criteria I'll be going over. First of all, it's got to be at least a 10-minute video. Just it's a lot of stuff on here. A lot of this that I'm probably going to cover is pretty personal. Nobody really outside of my family and immediate circle of friends really knows about this stuff. But I figured, I consider a lot of you friends, and I think, just time to get it out there. And don't worry, nothing too major, but it's just stuff that I don't normally like to just talk about. But what, I'm gonna do it. All right, enough rambling. Anyway, part of the criteria is first question he asks is, what obstacles have you dealt with and how have you overcome them? Well, first of all, first major obstacle in my life actually was back when I was little. The house that I grew up in, the house my parents still own and live in, there was, a ground level and then stairs, and it was kind of a loft area, and then the upstairs had what was at the time the master bedroom, and then bathroom off to the side. And when I was about 1.5, my mom went and took a bath, left me in that area, had the baby's gate up. But at the time, the banister for the stairs, it had bars, and they were about that, they were pretty narrow, but obviously not narrow enough. And while my mom was taking a bath, I managed to squeeze my way through them and fell I'm guessing it was probably about 10 feet to the kitchen floor. Knocked me unconscious, and got rushed to the hospital. Obviously I fully recovered, but because of the injuries that I suffered, I ended up with cerebral palsy. Obviously not a major case of it, because if you look at guys that have cerebral palsy, many of them are in wheelchairs, can't talk, things like that. So I'm thankful, when I see people like that and realize, that I could be a lot worse off than I am. I don't walk very straight. I mumble a lot when I talk. I repeat myself a lot, stutter. Those are some of the major side effects of having this disease, other than not completely not having the ability to walk or speak simple sentences. And then the other case, was about 9 years ago, last month. And this is going to get kind of personal, so guys, if you want to skip ahead, about 5 minutes or so, probably a good idea. One night, I was hanging out with a friend of mine after work, and all of a sudden I got a horrible, horrible stomach ache. I couldn't tell what it was, just that I couldn't even sit down. It hurt so bad. And the next morning, after barely getting any sleep that night, I went down to the doctor and, told her what was going on. And she, starts poking me in the appendix, does it hurt here? Does it hurt here? Does it hurt here? All over my stomach area. And I was surprised, and I said, no, none of that hurts. And she goes, well, there's one more area where it could be. And she grabbed me there, and I almost went through the roof. It hurt so bad when she did it. And she goes, well, okay, that's, after everything else, that's kind of what I figured it was. Where I had gotten, she thought it was that I had gotten a twisted up testicle. And she goes, and she sent me down to do ultrasound, and said, it's probably going to need surgery, but we're going to run a few tests, make sure. They did the ultrasound, a couple blood tests, a couple other things, and they called me back up, got sent to operation prep, and I called my mom. My dad, she was on her way. My dad was on his way. And all of a sudden, the nurse comes back, or the doctor comes back in, and she goes, hold up. It's nothing that serious. It's just an infection. We're going to give you some antibiotics. You can go home, rest for a few days, and you should be fine. I'll see you again in a week. And she had cut it so close that, about a minute later, the anesthesiologist came in to hook me up to IV for surgery. So I went home, had the antibiotics. After a couple of days, I felt great. I was back at work. I went to the doctor the next week, expecting her to say, well, everything turns out fine, and good to see you, and hope we don't have to see you again for a while. And, she ran all the tests again, did another ultrasound. Didn't think anything of it. Next day, about 15 minutes left of work, my boss comes over to me and she tells me that I've got a phone call. And that my mom's been trying to get a hold of me for like the last hour. So I go and I get the phone call, and she tells me that the doctor had tried calling my cell phone, didn't get an answer, so she called my mom, and I needed to call her right away. And so I did, and she goes, she just told me flat out, she just said, we did the test, we ran everything, and it's cancer. We got an appointment scheduled for you for the next day at the urology clinic in Grand Forks. I'm going to go in for surgery. We caught it early. Should be fine, So the next day I went down there, doctor confirmed it, had the surgery, had it removed, and I've made a full recovery. Haven't had any complications since, and just I'm thankful for every day now. I knew the chances of it being something really bad, besides the fact that it was cancer, were slim to none. But I just realized life is too short. Can't take anything for granted. Yeah, so that's that story. And just, that's how I overcome it. I just, any bad thing that comes up, I just, think back to where I've come from, and where I am now. That's the next part of the criteria, as well as what drives you, and that's part of it too. Just, that's what I do. Next part of the criteria is what do you do when life throws you a curveball or piles molasses in the road, and what do you do to overcome it? If those things don't work, my family is all very close. My brother and I are the only ones that live more than a 30-mile circumference from everybody else. Big family. I've got 13 cousins. 6 aunts. And they're just great people, all of them. I just go to them if I really need something. They're always there to lend an ear or anything else I need. Nothing really. The next part is if there's a type of music that helps you through the ups and downs, player, let me/us know what it is. I'm a country music kind of guy, but I can listen to anything and everything, but I'm not, really a music person, so I don't really need, music. I rarely even listen to music in the car. When I'm driving, I'm usually listening to sports radio. Listening to people complain about the Timberwolves, the Twins, the Wild, and the Vikings. And, that's just how it goes. Last part, a nice little step away from all the seriousness that this video entails. Last part is what your favorite wrestler as a kid and why. I guess as a kid mostly, I was, growing up in the late 80s, early 90s, everybody was a Hulkamaniac, but I was a Warrior fan. I always thought it was cool. He'd run to the ring, get in there, start shaking the ropes, just the war paint, all that, just destroying his opponent. And just a little bit of time, obviously, I didn't know at the time how, what that meant and that how little actual, ability he had in the ring. That was the reason for that, but, I still loved him, and I bawled my head off the day I found out he had died last year. And the other one, I guess, my favorite tag team also, I got favorite tag team Demolition, Axe and Smash, the war paint, the cool entrance music that they had. Again, destroying their opponents so quickly. Didn't have cable at the time, so I didn't realize that they were a rip-off of the Road Warriors. But then, too, Axe and Smash, Barry Darce was a Minnesota guy. Grew up down in the cities. Actually got a chance to work a wrestling show with his son, Dakota, a few years ago, and that was just awesome being able to sit in the locker room listening to him tell stories about his dad. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's the end of the video. Thanks again, Dave, for the contest. Felt actually pretty good to get that out in the open and all that. And that's it for tonight, guys. Probably going to make the Twins PC video probably tomorrow. Maybe Saturday or Sunday if it gets too late. And thanks for watching. Later.